Waiting on my guest to jump on, of course. Been wanting to actually interview the guy. I've actually got to see him fight here locally. And let me answer his question right quick. Give me a second. But yeah, I just want to invite everybody, of course. Thank you for chiming in, following not just our Instagram, but our YouTube channel, which is this is live. So if we screw up or if I screw up, of course, it's caught on my YouTube channel. So you can definitely go out there, subscribe, and follow our guests. You know, a lot of these fighters, man, just about all of them are up and comers. They all have more than a fight coming up, but there's a lot to them, and that's kind of what I try to get to. I try to get a little feedback on why they got into the sport. A lot of people, of course, wanting to be UFC fighters, wanting to be UFC stars, and man, it's only one belt in each division, so of course that's a long shot, but possibility. So I'm excited about everybody that's been jumping on and plugging them in. Of course, with everything going on, I mean, I've got my sponsors here locally. We got Hona products, of course, CBD, everything, great stuff, great company. Check them out. Go to their link. Use the code Fight Card and get 10% off your sales, as well as my buddies out there in Victoria, Texas, man. Satori Soap Company. These things last, man. Actually, smell my make my room smell good, so that's definitely a plus. But let me wait for him to jump back on. I know I just sent him one link, but this is going to be an interview with Tedrick Macklin. Of course, the guy just fought here, like I said, recently in March at the Burning Tech Center for Fury FC. Put on a hell of a fight. I mean, he went in there and he actually fought, man. That was a freaking tough, a great bout for him. Definitely was able to capitalize and show his skills. So I'm looking forward to him jumping on. And let me see if we can get back on here right quick. But the man himself, of course, I'm going to plug that in. I mean, he is on the Millions. Here we go. Platform.
Okay, there we
Bro.
are.
Yes, sir. What's going on,
How's
man?
it going, man? Finally got it going.
No, no, no. I saw you on there, and you accepted the first time, of course, man. But for some reason, I don't know. I mean, it is Millions, and I was just talking about the platform that you're on there also, man. And I'm gonna plug them in because I actually like the way they're set up, bro. I mean, they give guys like yourself, the ability to create funds, sell merchandise, and grow your platform, man. So it's a great place.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, let's get it, man. We've
Yes, sir.
been trying to schedule it for a while. We finally got it going.
I I know,
I'm
bro. I was doing the little intro earlier talking about we were trying to get it done before your fight here in San Antonio, man, for Fury FC. And of course, crunch time. So of course, I try not to mess with you guys the week of because weight cut and everything else, man. You guys are out there hangry, what they call it, right? Hungry
oh
and
yeah,
angry,
man.
bro.
Hell yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
No, no, for sure, bro. And of course, man, right off the bat, man. I mean, are you from South Texas?
Originally I'm from Midland, Texas. I'm out of South Texas now. That's where I reside. That's where I live now. But originally from Midland, Texas. I'm fighting out of Edinburgh, Texas. And I trained at Blood Pack, Muay Thai, RGVFA, cross training a bit with Team Fahea, Jiu Jitsu South Texas. I'm pretty spread out in this area. So
No, no, for sure, man. And that's one of the things because, I mean, here in Texas, I mean, I've been in the fight game as a student way back when in 2000, bro. And for us, it was always North Texas that were ahead of the game. Here in San Antonio in 2000, I think there was like two schools running around, bro. But I mean, South
mhm.
Texas definitely caught up, and they've got a lot of great fighters out there, a lot of great gems. And you're the proof, man. I mean, you're actually, like you said, from Midland, you went down south, and you were able to capitalize on some of that knowledge, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Think it's going well.
And
I do
man, let
say
me
so
ask you, bro,
myself.
because no, no, for sure, man. But this fight that happened here in San Antonio, man. I mean, of course, I was talking about it earlier, and the fact that you were supposed to fight Cody Steele, that was a matchup that I was looking forward to, man. He pulled out of the fight, injuries, I believe. But
hmm
your opponent, man. I mean, they gave you somebody new, and did you hesitate taking that fight, man, or were you already set on fighting somebody?
Yeah, I'll be realistic, man. Like originally, we were really game to fight Cody. We had been preparing for quite a bit. I think 2 or 3 months and whatnot. and the late opponent change was a really really hard hit. They really struggled to find me opponents. Supposedly they had been looking between like 10 to 15 opponents, and the only person that had said yes was Nico Echeverry, which he's the former champion, whatnot, and you're going for fighting someone with upcoming. He's a really, Cody. He's a really good athlete. He's really athletic. Obviously, has good jujitsu. You're going from someone that's kind of inexperienced but really, really powerful, and athletic, to someone that's very experienced, has fought the five-minute rounds multiple times in Nico Echeverry. A much different fight and a much, in my opinion, a much riskier fight, especially stylistically. So we were a little hesitant. I'm not gonna lie, just because on short notice fighting someone like that,
Oh
you
yeah,
always have to respect their experience. That's what you really do. So we were a little hesitant, but there wasn't really a lot of time to hesitate due to the circumstance and the amount of time we had left. And I was like, you know what? I've seen Nico fight before. I believe he's very beatable. We weren't really worried. At this point of my career, it's not even worried about winning because I know I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win. It's about really having entertaining fighting, having the right types of fights. And honestly, we knew going into it. Um, Nico Echeverry possessed a style that could make this a very boring fight if I was not careful. And
right,
unfortunately, I feel like his style, that ended up kind of happening because I think me and Cody would have been a much more exciting fight.
right,
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we still took it. I think we got a win over a really, really good opponent, which showed the level we were at. And then honestly, I don't even feel like we really even showed like honestly half our skills. Honestly, I got out of that fight with Nico Echeverry, and I felt like I fought 2 3 minute rounds of sparring, dude. He was breathing hard. No disrespect, Nico's a great
right.
guy. No disrespect, but uh, I thought he was going to try to inflict a little more damage and come out there and kind of make more of a statement. And he didn't, which made it kind of coasted to an easy win. But I feel like I'm still kind of in a similar position where people are like, oh, well, like he still hasn't shown a lot of his ability. But at the
Right.
same time, I did get that 15 minutes of ring time, which was great. And now I know that I can push it if need be.
Yeah.
I really need to push that 15 minutes. I got it. So I think it just made me a lot better, and it made me more what's it called? Just more enthusiastic when it comes to not letting someone hold me against the cage and make it a boring fight. Because from now on, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that saw the fight, and their game plan is going to be, hey, let's try to hold Teddy against the cage.
Yeah.
Just know that we're ready for that, and I will drop a bomb on you if you try to do that. It won't be
No,
going well for you. We'll never make it a close fight like that again in
right.
that route. You know what I mean? That's one thing I was disappointed about, the fact that it was such a close fight, and I felt that I was a much better fighter. I had the ability to maybe make it a more. I mean, the thing about Nico Echeverry, man, is you have to be really careful because he's stylistically really, really good at
Yeah.
making good fighters like stall. You know what I mean? So we had to be
Right.
careful and just being short notice and whatnot. We didn't really have the same type of like watch time to watch his fights. So like with Cody, I'm not gonna give too much away. We had found a lot of his tendencies and a lot of things that we felt we were gonna
Right.
capitalize on. Nico, we knew that he liked to kind of hold against the cage and he liked to kind of stall people out. So we were just, we were like, all right, let's be very careful and try not to let him win the fight doing that. So, um, it's pretty much what it was, man.
No, no, for sure. I mean, I was able to watch it live, man, and I'm kind of glad I did because I was looking forward to that. I mean, when they made the fight change, of course, I kind of my first take was just that, like, oh damn, that's a lot of experience, man. I mean, the fact that they threw him at you, and I mean, of course, like you said, it was close to fight time, so it was either him or possibly not even fighting, which
Yeah,
always sucks, for you guys that have been training, man. But
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, man, I
You
was looking forward to that, man, and you definitely you put on the show, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I mean, you kept it. You kept fighting to make it entertaining, and I was like, man, like you said, I mean, he was stalling the fight, and no disrespect to the guy, he's a grinder. He'll grind you out there, and like you said, a lot of people do quit, and that's when he capitalizes, man. But yeah, bro. I mean, for those, I know towards the end, you actually posted a video at the commentary. I didn't hear it because I was there live, but as far as everybody kind of like talking about him the whole time, and it did kind of make me wonder, man, because I watched it and I'm like, man, what the heck were they watching? No disrespect to the guy, but it seemed like they were a little lopsided on that, bro.
Yeah, man. I was obviously, if you followed me on Facebook at that moment, you knew that I was absolutely pissed. I mean,
Oh
during
yeah,
the fight, for me, man, this is what I personally believe. Like, this fight was a case of damage over control. Who inflicted the
right,
more damage and who controlled better? If you like control more, maybe you give Nico Echeverry the fight. If I had lost, I would have been upset, but by no means would I have been like, what the hell? Like, why did I lose? I'd be like, okay, they like control more. I damaged him more at the end of the first round. His nose was bleeding. The second round, he won. You're never going to hear me say the second round, he won, but it's not that he did anything significant. It's just that I didn't do enough. You know what I mean? And
right.
in the third round, in my opinion, I just made it as ugly of a fight as I could make it. And
Yeah,
if you could see through if you watch the fight on the live, you'll see when I'm throwing those strikes at the end and those elbows how uncomfortable he is. Like I made that dude really really uncomfortable. When I pushed his head between my legs, like his grip was hold on for dear life. And there's some things that like kind of frustrated me as far as the judging too, because like we go into the first round, right? And like there's a 2.5 minute span where Nico throws 8 strikes, and two of those strikes are punches to land. They're not anything super significant, but he lands 2 punches.
right.
And then he throws one knee that's a baby knee. And he throws about 5 other knees that don't land. And I'm like, in a 2.5 minute span to not throw anything and to not have them get me off the cage, it's kind of ridiculous. Because I watched some other fights recently for Fury, and like I'm not. This isn't putting anything on Fury.
No, of
Don't
course.
don't let yeah don't let me name dropping a name like get you twisted. But I've seen other fights where they like there's been way shorter time on the cage and they'll break them up. So the whole time we're going, like he's wasting a lot of effort in his attempt to take me down. So I'm like, why should I even waste the effort to get off? I mean, he's not inflicting any damage. There's no threat. So why do anything? You know what I mean? So like I had the ability to get off the cage, but it was like, why? But I should have made the read to get off the cage just because the judges obviously they didn't care how long he laid on me as long
Right.
as he was laying on me on the cage, which I mean that's how judges are gonna be sometimes. So, we're gonna adapt our game accordingly. For lack of better words, you can't give these judges shit. You can't rely on them for shit. I wasn't relying on them to save me. I definitely wasn't in any type of distress at all during that fight. I
Right.
mean, I hardly had any damage, which is, why we're going to what we're going to now. And I just feel like it just sucks because the way I fight, man, like I feel like I'm kind of labeled as a grappler, but I'm really more of a stand up dude. But the moment I start standing with people, I don't know what happens. I guess they get tagged and they're like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna wrestle. So
I'm taking it, man.
so unfortunately that's kind of been the story. I've gotten to grapple a lot more in these fights because of that reason. But man, I'm a pretty nasty striker. I can't wait to showcase it. I think my current opponent is a good person to showcase it. But I just feel like as soon as he feels like what I have to offer, he might try to
Right.
grapple, but I don't feel like anywhere he goes, it's in his best interest. So I mean, he can really take it anywhere. Regardless, he's gonna get fucked up. So I mean, you know.
No, no, for sure, man. But yeah, man. I mean, of course, so that fight happened, and you mentioned the judges and the refs, bro, and of course, especially here in Texas, man, we all know, man. If it goes a distance, it's kind of scary because you don't know what fight they're watching, as far as what angle.
Hmm.
But yeah, man. I mean, you did get the nod, and I mean, you were happy with the win, of course. But I mean,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure you would have rather had a finish, right?
Yeah, man, I was happy, but I was dissatisfied in the sense, I'm
Right.
known for being a finisher. I did want to finish that fight. I really did. But the thing about it is when someone has that fight style, you kind of have to play it careful because if I had just gone out and tried to finish him the way I do every fight, it would have been a much riskier fight, honestly, because his goal would have just been to hold me down when he scored those takedowns. Like he
Right.
wasn't trying to inflict any damage or try to do anything else besides score by control time. So I had to fight it a little differently. Um, I mean, in my opinion, I could have did the same thing. I could fight a lot of fights where I just kind of lay on you and just kind of control, and I could get the win that way. But what does that do for me? I'm in this for legacy. I'm in there to go and go to the highest level, and not only be in the UFC, but be an entertainer and be a
Right.
performer. I want to be a household name. I want to go down as one of the greats. So we're gonna go out there and try to inflict damage on people because I don't ever go into a fight thinking, oh, I'm gonna jujitsu them the best I can. We're gonna inflict some damage. You're gonna come out there at least a little hurt. If I can
Yeah,
find a way to, if you haven't seen my fights, one thing you'll know, if you're a new fan or someone that's just watching, Tedrick Macklin or Team Muddy will find a way to punch you. Like
oh, no, for
I
sure,
will
man.
find a way to punch you. So
You see, and when you mentioned earlier that you make it ugly, I mean, you're talking about hammer fist, raining down shots from whichever angle just to connect, man. So I can definitely see that. I mean, like you mentioned, that last minute, the last round, man. I mean, you went out there and you were just throwing everything and anything, man. So of course, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like I said, I mean, it was an entertaining fight, knowing the clash, the styles that clashed, the opponents. I mean, the fact that he was a former Fury champion. Uh,
mhm.
did raise your stock as far as your stocks, man, because now you beat a former champion, so you kind of go up the ladder, some,
Yeah,
and then
man. Yeah, man. I love that too. The only problem is, if you know anything about my career, I've always had trouble finding opponents, and now it's kind of like it's a little more difficult now because I just beat a former champ, and in my opinion, I should be fighting people along that same caliber, and those people really want to fight. None of the people with similar records really want to fight, so I'm kind of in a standpoint where it's like I'm really hoping that this fight right now gets me a contender series shot, or a straight shot to UFC, blah blah blah. But if it doesn't, like, who am I going to fight? You know what I mean? It's just
right,
really we're kind of a difficult stance, but we'll see. I don't want to count my eggs for they hatch. Anything could happen, but
right.
look, we're hoping that I do what I need to do. I know I'm gonna do what I need to do. Let's just hope that the higher ups they see it and they give me my shot because I'm ready. I know I'm ready. So
No, for sure, man, and of course, I mean that Friday, I mean you guys got to fight. Mick Maynard, of course, was in attendance. A lot of UFC fighters. There was a lot of people there watching, so I'm sure your name is up there, bro. And it's just a matter of, I mean, shoot, maybe even this fight coming up. You might get picked up before that. Who knows? But I
yeah.
mean, if they come calling, of course you're going to accept, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure, we've been ready. Fuck yeah.
Nice, bro. And let me ask you, as far as his opponent, man. I mean, of course, it's the Fury FC Challenger Series. I believe that's kind of like a new segment as far as them kind of like. I mean, this is it. You get a win here, and more than likely you're gonna get picked up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's what we think. That's what we think, and that's what we hope, man. I think it's a pretty good chance, very very likely that with a win and a very very good finish over this dude, I really do think I'll have a pretty good shot at getting picked up. I think the right eyes are on me. I'm getting MMA junkie articles and things like that. A lot
Oh
of
yeah, bro.
things. So
Nice.
I have the eyes on me. I know the eyes are on me. If I can get an interview on MMA Junkie, I think that's pretty dope as is. So I think the right eyes are on me. I know that I'm a top prospect in the world. So let's do the damn thing.
No, no, for sure, man. And of course, I mean, this opponent coming up, man. I mean, of course, do you know anything about the guy? Have you guys already been studying him?
Yeah, man. We were actually not my last fight, obviously, for San Antonio, but the one before that in Edinburgh. He was supposed to be a
Right.
late notice replacement, but he dropped out. He accepted and then he dropped out. I don't remember why. If I'm being blunt, I mean, because I'm a pretty blunt person, I think it was some lame ass reason. But anyways, they hit me up about the matchup, and I was like, "Are you sure this dude wants to fight?" Especially with the record, I'll be blunt, like with the record and everything, and they're like, he said no, and then he said yes or something like that, and he said yes. I was like, all right, well, let's run it. If he's in, then I'm in. I mean,
Right.
it's whatever as long as he's 100% down. Because with my history, if you go and look at my tapology, you look at other
Yeah,
things. I've had a
bro.
lot of opponents drop out.
Yeah.
Pretty much every opponent I've had in Fury has never been my original opponent, except for Jacob Small, because I took him late notice. So
Right.
that's the only dude that I've had as original opponent that went through. So I was like, all right, if he's in, I'm in and whatnot. So we know a lot about him because we were studying him beforehand. We know a pretty good deal. He's a striker. I mean, like I said, bro, I'm not one to hold words. I'm not really impressed at all by this dude. Rarely am I impressed, but I'm not very impressed at all. I've seen him. I really think he's more 1 and 2 in my opinion. I think he lost his last fight, and I feel like he got rocked by 135 or so. What do you think is gonna happen when someone that hits 170s and drops them? You know what I mean? Like I'm dropping 170s, and you're getting rocked by 135. So when I hit his chin, it's gonna be bad, man. But I think he's slick. I think he's technical, but I think physically, I'm just gonna be too much of a beast. I really just think the fight IQ. I still haven't really displayed how cold I can be, but like I'm just so much for most of these guys that there's really no need to like I'm just running over them, So
Right
uh,
before you get to that point, right?
yeah, yeah. Before I even get to that point to
Yeah,
where I have to pull all that shit out. So I mean, we'll see if he can bring some of that out. I'm not underestimating him by any means. We're taking him super seriously, but I mean, he'll show me something. We're gonna fight him like he's the best in the world, but I
right.
really think he's gonna get ran through. I said when we first were matched up, I beat him in 3 minutes. I really don't see anything differently happening, but if he can avoid these bombs for 3 minutes, props to him. Good luck surviving the rest of the 12. but uh, as I said, man, I don't really. The good thing about me fighting 15 minutes now, a really good thing I used to always play off of is I had fought less than 10 minutes. There was a lot of pressure in that. I'm not gonna lie. I'd always joke
Yeah,
around like,
bro.
I fought in less than 10 minutes and shit. So I'd always be like, man, I gotta finish this dude before. But I didn't really think I would be able to finish Nico Echeverry within that, especially fighting 7 minutes at that point. I was like, Nico Echeverry is gonna be I'm gonna have to be careful with him. So I'm probably not gonna be able to defeat Nico Echeverry within that time span. I'll say if I defeat him, it's probably gonna be second round. So going into that fight, I knew like, especially late notice, I was like, all right, we're probably gonna have to cut that shit right now. But I still do plan on finishing this dude pretty quickly. Man, Cody would have been. I really feel like Cody would have been a fun fight. I feel like I would have finished Cody. There's some things where I think he would open up to where it would have presented me some opportunities to really put it on him. Whatever happened with him, I mean, I don't want to just talk shit to a lot of fighters, so I'm just gonna. but
No, no. But
but
but you know what though, man? I mean, let me say this. After this fight, I mean, say they offer you Cody Steele again, man. Would you jump on that?
Man, I just don't think it makes sense if I'm being honest with you because at
Right,
that point, I mean, right now he's 3-0, I'm 5-0. At that point, I plan on being 6-0. So, I just beat a former champ with a ton of experience. He's up and coming. Not to say that he's not, I think he's good. I'll never say Cody Steele's bad or anything like that. I will say I do think he's overhyped. I do think there's a lot of things that they think that he's excellent for that I don't really feel that he's excellent at. But I do think he's good. I do feel like he's a dude that will be in the UFC.
right,
And I don't want to like trash talk him because I do think he's actually pretty decent. But when it comes down to it, I really feel like the best time to match us was probably then. If
right,
I see him later down the line in the UFC, hell yeah. But I don't really think it makes sense right now. I'm not really like dying to maybe fight a dude with a record like this right now, but it's late notice, you know what I mean? So I'm really kind of feeling in to help him out. That's the reason why we're accepting it. If it's something that's planned, it really doesn't make sense. If it was something short notice, baby, but the only thing the being Cody still really does for me, I think, like from his stock and his fan perspective, it does something for me. But then they go, "Oh well, you have double the fights as him, and you
right.
beat him." You
They'll
know what I
come up
mean?
with
So
something, man.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like we all want to whoop his ass. I'd love to whoop his ass. I'd love to be the dude too, but. I mean, if anything, maybe let him get some more fights. We can run it eventually. I think as he goes on, depending on how he chooses his fights and depending on how smart he is, depends on if we'll ever see each other. If he's selective with his fights, I think he'll do really well. I think he'll get to the point that he needs to do or where he needs to be. But all I know is I feel like he made a business decision in not fighting me. I don't really think he was hurt because he messaged me personally and said he told me that he had gotten like staph infection or some shit and that he had some injuries that are keeping him off the mat. And then on fight week, I have people, because people talk. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh
People
yeah,
talk, and then they're sending me videos of him cracking pads hard and rolling and shit. And I actually got injured. Another thing that happened, I actually got injured this last fight about 2 weeks out. Really, really, kind of like a week and a half out. I got injured to the point to where my I couldn't walk. Really, I really couldn't walk. I was like really
damn.
struggling to just like do any type of lateral movement and whatnot. about like 6 days out, I finally got my movement back a little more. I was pushing it, I was like, you know what, we can still get this damn thing done, but that's the type of person I am. I'm gonna try to ride it till the wheels fall off. So, not everyone's like that, not everyone's built like that in this generation of fighters. I get it. I'm a risky opponent as is, but I feel like it was kind of early to make that call. But it is what it is. That's another reason why I really, like I spent 2 or 3 month camp on Cody, and then he dropped out for that reason. He was cracking pads. I was like, man, if I spend another 2 or 3 months on a dude and he drops out, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I just wasted a lot of my time. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it
yeah.
is what it is. But I think, I think there's a possibility that you could see that matchup in the future. If for a reason I didn't get that call, if they offer him a quick run to a title, I'll whoop his ass for a title. I'll do that for sure. So there's a few circumstances where they can maybe make that happen, but
Right.
they got to be real. I'm the A side at this point. You know what
Oh
I mean? I
yeah,
really
no,
do
for sure.
believe that.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Since we're talking about both guys, man, let's rough up some feathers, man. Who do you think would win with Cody Steele and Echeverry, man?
Cody still and Echeverry. Mm, it really depends. I think I don't really know, man. I think Cody Still's gonna have the slightly better grappling, but I think he has the ability. I think Nico Echeverry has the ability to stall a fighter like Cody. I don't know, man. That's actually a pretty good fight. I actually
I
like
think
that fight.
so.
I think on paper that's actually a really good fight. I mean, the hands I would give to Cody, but the thing is, like, Cody, he opens up a lot with wide swings. I think that would make him really susceptible to takedowns. Cody's takedown defense isn't really like crazy good, but when he gets to the ground, he can scramble. So I mean, it would be a good fight stylistically. I like the matchup, honestly. I would watch, you know what I mean? I actually like, I watch a lot of the Fury fights, a lot of the lightweights. I watch them fight, and, I watch as a fan too. I watch as like someone that's, hey, I might fight this dude in the future, and hey, like, I just like
Exactly.
watching them fight, and like, to be blunt, like, like, if Cody fights, I'm gonna watch him. I don't bullshit about anything. I'll watch him fight. Don't mean that I'm necessarily a fan, but, the dude has some,
Doing homework,
yes,
man.
yeah, I do homework, but I watch Nico Echeverry's last fight. It's just the type of person I am. I keep up with my old opponents and keep up with the people that I was originally matched up with. Because if I was matched up with them once, who knows what'll happen in the future? So I'll never
Exactly.
say there's no chance of us being. Because like this dude, I didn't really think I'd get matched up with him again, but the circumstances arose where we got matched up. So yeah, man. Honestly, if I were to give the nod, I would like to say if Cody did his homework, which I'm still not sure what Cody's fight IQ is like, because I've seen some fights where he wasn't fighting like necessarily what I would call great people, and
Right.
he had some close rounds. So I would probably, off of experience, honestly give it to Echeverry,
Right.
just because I feel like he's more versatile in his ability to change things up. But it's kind of like a similar situation. I would say Cody is the more talented person. You know what I
Right.
mean? But sometimes in these matchups where you have talented fighters versus experienced fighters, these experienced fighters are good at putting the fight in a way to where you don't really get to see the talented fighters showcase their talents. You know what I mean? That's one thing I will. Echeverry had pretty good timing on his takedowns. I will give him that. Granted, that's all he was going for. I thought he was going to
Yeah.
go for the striking, but I think it could be a really, really interesting fight. I mean, if he could go get a win against Echeverry, I think we'd be in the same spot. So, I
Yeah.
think the Kilmore fight with him was pretty interesting, but that's one where, like, personally, I had Kilmore winning, but the judges gave it to Cody. It's all good. Kilmore's interest. Kilmore kind of fights similar to Echeverry, in my opinion, when it
Right.
comes to like not throwing a lot of hands, but kind of grappling. But he's a little more. I feel like he chain wrestles a little more, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sam Kilmore chain wrestles a little more, but um he's more scared to get hit than Echeverry, I feel like, you know what I mean? But they're just opinions, you know what I mean? I'm here to give my opinions. I could be right, I could be wrong. If Cody came out with a win, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that could actually be a pretty good fight.
Oh yeah, man. We'll see, man. Because we never know. I mean, it is MMA, so I mean, when people get matched up and last minute replacements, like the one you're getting now, you never know who you're gonna fight. But I gotta say, bro, because a lot of these fights have been last minute replacement. Like you said, you haven't had like that many opponents that you already had scheduled. I mean, because of that, I think the experience kind of tops a lot, bro. Because I mean, you're kind of going into fighting new people all the time, so you don't really get to. I mean, not saying you don't change your game plan, but it's kind of like you know what, you're ready for whatever's out there, and that makes it
We just
interesting.
go we just go in there to fuck them up. We're just man, we
Oh yeah,
like man, it's late notice, so we just gotta go in there and be the uglier fighter. That's how it is most of the time at this point, man. It never surprises me, bro. Honestly, I always expect the opponent change, bro.
yeah,
That's honestly how it is. I think if I have an opponent change for this one, we probably won't be fighting just because how late notice it is and how we're
right.
kind of just doing it for the sake of like kind of saving the card. So I think if there is an opponent change on this one, I don't think we'll be fighting, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that there's nothing that goes wrong with that. You know what I mean? So hopefully, fingers crossed, no opponent changes. But we're used to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, I've never not had an opponent change, and this has been going on since the Emmys. You know, my first pro fight, I had 10 opponent changes. You know, so
Damn.
yeah. So I mean, it's always funny because I always have people ask, they're like, "So what happens if someone drops out? Do you have a win?" And I'm like, "Man, if I had a win for every time someone dropped out, I'd be like 20 something fucking no. I wish. I was
You
like,
know,
I'd be
this ain't jujitsu, man. You get a gold
yeah,
medal,
yeah.
right? Nobody shows up.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, man, I wish they did because I would have a pretty fucking good win record right now.
Oh yeah, bro.
But
Shoot.
I've only, anytime like I've had to drop out of a fight, I've just been very like, I'm very upfront about what happens. I provide some type of like medical read. Like last time, my fingers dislocated, so I just posted a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
there's no fighting. But anytime I drop out of a fight, I'm gonna come to the public, and they're gonna know exactly why I dropped out. But people do things differently, man. But I don't. I feel like when you're gonna drop out of a fight, all that private shit, you need to let people know, especially your opponent, like why are you dropping out? Is there proof that and we sign contracts and it just feels like we sign contracts for no fucking reason because people drop out for fucking hurt toenail and shit. So um but it is what it is, man. It's the fight game. You know what it is, so
No, for sure, man. But you see, I mean, the fact that you have the experience that you do coming into the sport, man. I mean, like you said, you've been fighting people that you haven't been preparing for. I mean, you know, a lot of the UFC heads were at the Fight Friday when you fought, and I think that's gonna add up, man. Because of course, I mean, if nobody knew who you were then, I mean, of course, that night, you know, just the fact that UFC fighters were in attendance, Mick Manuel, like I said, was there, and you know, there's they got to have your name out there, bro. So of course, I'm just looking forward to it, man. Because when you guys get picked up and get that opportunity, man, it makes this work all well worth it, you know. Because we're trying to do our job and put you out there. So we definitely appreciate all the fighters going out there and entertaining and putting on a hell of a fight, man.
hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's what we're gonna continue to do over here, man. I I feel like I'm pretty good on the mic. I feel like the skills are there as far as the fighting. I think we have a pretty good, I just think I'm a character when it comes to everything. I think I'm going to be a real good hit when it comes to the UFC. I'm not afraid to be outspoken and just, talk my shit when I need to, but I'm not really like overly, I try not to be too over about it, but if
Right.
need be, we can do it. We can take it anywhere, but I feel, I love doing interviews and whatnot, so I appreciate the opportunity and whatnot. I want to give my fans in Midland and South Texas the opportunity to see that someone, starting out from a small city can really do big things and, get these interviews and put in the work and, make something happen, you know what I mean? So hopefully with God's help, I'll be the first UFC fighter out of Midland, Texas, born and raised. Hopefully, that's my goal. Obviously, we're gonna take it further than that. I'm aiming for title aspirations, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think that'll be a big goal. Hopefully, we'll hit that soon. And yeah, man. Hopefully, I just keep on, giving people hope and giving people a chance to, experience this journey with me and hopefully take their own journey however they see fit, whether that's fighting, whether that's some type of business endeavor or whatever. I just
Right.
want to do something more than just stuff for myself. You know what I mean? I want this to branch out and help other people. So I hope my fighting career does that for people. Me pursuing with my love, I hope it takes other people to pursue what they love and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, I know this is a brutal sport, but at the end of the day, it's all love. Even when you fight an opponent like me and Nico, I've said some things about him, but I'm cool with him, man. I'm cool with. I don't really have any hate towards any of my old opponents and whatnot. I'm an intense guy, so fight night, I gotta make things a little personal, but it's dead once the fight's over and whatnot.
Right.
We best friends after that, so is what it is.
No, for sure, man. And of course, man, I want you to plug in your platform because, of course, you do a lot of social media, man. You do a lot of content. The Millions.co, of course, one of them. You have merchandise out there. So let everybody know what they can get from your Millions.co platform.
Hell yeah. So my fire nickname, I go by T Money. My Instagram is TMac294. TMACK294. You can follow me on social media or Facebook, Tedrick Macklin MMA, Tedrick Macklin. You can follow me there. As far as millions, I have T Money shirts with the logo. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
a where I'm hitting Nico and there's like a Thanos snap. I have hoodies, shirts. Eventually, we're gonna have some caps out. The goal is
Nice.
to have the coldest apparel in the game. I want my brand worldwide. So the goal this year is to for this month, I want to get my brand all the way across Texas. In the following months, I want to get it all across the United States. By the time we hit the U.S. or the UFC, all around the world. So if y'all can help me, if y'all like my interviews, y'all like my fighting style, go show some support. Just buy a quick shirt or whatnot, whatever you guys want to do. Sponsors for this upcoming fight. This is a short notice fight, so sponsors are really, really important for it. So if you want to see me keep fighting, us MMA fighters, we're broke as shit. I don't care what we, I don't care what we say. We're actually pretty broke. So
Yeah.
if you love seeing us do what we do, I appreciate any sponsorships coming our way so we can keep doing this thing. I appreciate all the love and support from my fans. If anything, if you can't do any of those things, like sharing and supporting and just letting the world know who T Money is, that'll be enough. So I appreciate everyone for just tuning in. And hey, you will see a lot more of me, and it's gonna be on a way bigger screen. So I appreciate Texas Fighting for having me. I feel like this is a dope platform, and man, that a dope interview altogether. So
No, for sure, man. And I appreciate you, man. I try to make this a good conversation, man. And I mean, of course, I always throw questions that I want to know. But the fact that you guys tell a little bit more and we get to keep conversating, always great. But man, I do wish you the best. The fight's coming up. Hopefully, the heads out there in the UFC are watching, and hopefully, good news after that fight, man.
hell yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Man, well, of course, Team Money. Best of luck. We wish you the best, and we'll see you soon, man. So thank you for jumping on, and we'll talk. We'll catch up one more time.
Thank you, man. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, all right, brother. Thank you, bro. We'll talk soon.
Catch you later. Bye.